Today, I'll offer you a tale filled with bloodshed, glory, and wrestling. I'll start off by saying I used to love wrestling when I was a kid, and by wrestling, I mean aggressive performance art. So let me tell you about the best in-ring performer to ever enter the predetermined battleground. He went by the name New Jack, and he is criminally underrated. His career in manhandling began in 1992, and from then until 1995, he was wrestling in the redneck territories. But he reached his prime when he moved to Philadelphia's steel chair hockey league known as ECW, which stood for Extreme Championship Wrestling. I'll put it this way, if WWE is like theater, and ECW is like a heavy metal show where people rolled around in broken glass and barbed wire, New Jack fit right into this environment since he has been a professional extremist his entire life. And what I mean by that is the fact that he used to be a bounty hunter. This clip from a mutton choppy interview with the man himself should explain what I'm trying to say.
While you were bounty hunting, you said you were in prison before. How long were you in prison for?
3 years.
3 years, and what was that for?
Now your fucking business.
Oh, excellent, fantastic. Was that for one of the 4 justifiable homicides?
No, that was through bounty hunting.
That was through bounty hunting. So, did something go awry, or was it just you just had?
I just said I'm not answering that question why I was in prison.
People want to know this though, Jack.
That ain't none of their fucking business what I did before I started wrestling.
This made New Jack the perfect fit for his gimmick, which was being part of a tag team called the Gangsters, with his partner Mustafa. And if that doesn't scream black Israelite power, then I don't know what does. These hardcore gang members were never scheduled on the show. They would just follow the company around and sneak into matches and beat the shit out of everyone with weapons. Their theme music would play on loop throughout an entire match, similar to smoking with someone who is always trying to sell you their mixtape. However, in this case, the Gangsters' entrance music was the unlicensed song Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube.
Came out the nutsack.
None of that is what New Jack is really known for, since he has done much greater things in his life. His most famous work is the mass transit incident where he bladed a teenager because the teen lied about his age and being mutilated experience. New Jack didn't know the kid's age at the time, and that sort of sounds like a pedophile's excuse to me. Nonetheless, this is a courageous man, who totally got away with it like OJ did, as New Jack would probably say himself.
Like OJ did and got away with it.
After ECW went out of business in 2001, New Jack was left to fight his fight on the indie circuit, and this is where he truly shined. His list of accomplishments include nearly beating an old gypsy man to death with a baseball bat in an empty warehouse for reasons that are justified, and stabbing his opponent multiple times because it was a hardcore match.
And we hooked up, he tried to pick me up and dump me, and I had a blade, about an 8-inch blade in my pocket, in my pants, and I pulled it out and I started stabbing him. And they said I stabbed him 14 times, and I did not stab him 14 times. I stabbed him 9. It was 9. It's on the tape, it was 9. I'm not gonna let you get in there and get your jollies off because you've been watching me on tape all your life. Would I do it again? Yeah, I'd do it again. I'll stab the shit out of somebody else again if that shit happened to me again in the ring. Do I feel bad about stabbing him? No. Should he have died? Yeah. I'm glad he didn't, but it is what it is. That's what happened. I take my job very serious. Other than listening to that knife sliding in and out of his flesh, it didn't bother me one bit. I was sticking the shit out of him. And each time it made the same noise.
New Jack was one of the top competitors during his day, and his forehead tells the story of him cutting himself open for dramatic bloody moments. This selfless showman used to jump from balconies onto people on the rig, but one time while taking one of these plunges, New Jack cracked his skull open on the concrete because the guy he was leaping with hesitated and botched the spot. New Jack said he suffered a brain fluid leak which poured out years worth of street knowledge, thus draining his faint final grasp on reality, if he ever held such a thing to begin with. Though he did get revenge later on when he nearly killed the same guy by tossing him off a scaffold. Anyways, he also has pro-gay views.
What's your opinion of gay marriage?
Mike, that is the nastiest shit you could ever ask me. I'm sorry. That 2 men butt fucking ought to be strung up by their nuts. A gay marriage. 2 men kissing, oh my God. Now I watch 2 bitches kiss.
In conclusion, this man not being in the WWE is the reason it is fake. If the business wanted to get higher ratings, you just need to let New Jack run wild with the machete, because it would not even be acting, just the realest shit you ever saw. Also, I think when it comes down to New Jack, he is a rare case where you should separate the artist from the art, because while his paintbrush is an 8-inch blade, he is a kind, gentle soul.
There ain't no sense inside to me.
I stopped using shampoo after seeing that scene in the Malcolm X movie where the OG prisoner puts Denzel on in the showers by telling him to stop using the white man's shampoo. Thus, Malcolm X was born again. but this time even blacker.